All right, lads, welcome back to me podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here again. Uh, Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Phenomenal. Thanks so much for keeping the train going. Again, any comments, concerns, you want to send them on to my Instagram. That's where I get all my messages for Mick Thomas Comedy. The pattern I've been doing with 3 podcasts a week. One, I just do by myself ranting. Another one is I try just have another comic on here and we dick around and make fun of each other and try to get some laughs. And then the other one, my third one, is usually kind of like a well-being episode, and let it be mental health or for whatever it is. But today is no exception, and joining me is friend, comedian, and this is going to be very beneficial when we speak about health, is Mr. Anthony Didiminico. All right, Ant, how are you, mate?
What's going on, Mick?
Not much at all, pal. How are you? I know we spoke last time. We had Dan Barry on there, and it was that was a very unpleasant three-way. But yeah. So the reason why I kind of always wanted to get you on as a guest for this kind of stuff. I mean, you are, first of all, are you an ambassador for WW, which is now Weight Watchers?
I'm not an ambassador. I'm hoping one day they make me one, but as of now, I'm not an ambassador.
I mean, you should be, man. I mean, how many followers do you have from WW alone?
Well, I have close to 8,000 Instagram followers, and I would say most of that is through the weight loss community. I mean, I had a decent amount through comedy, but it really took off when I started doing this.
Yeah, that's one thing, man. Once I just kind of, one day I try to stay off as much as I can. I don't look at other people because I get depressed. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this person's doing great. Why am I not doing that? But every once in a while, I follow the people that I like, people that I'm friends with. But I looked at your page one day, and all of a sudden I just saw this explosion of followers. I'm like, what the fuck is Ant doing? And then I just kind of see, and then I started listening to your podcast. Do you still have your other podcast?
No, I just do the WW Bro podcast now.
Yeah, because you came up in the stories, and I was like, and normally I don't really watch that many stories, but you came up, man, and the message you were given was fucking phenomenal, right? And do you want to share the number, your number of what you have lost weight wise?
Yeah, sure. I've lost 202.2 pounds so far.
Fucking amazing, man. That's more than me. Like, that's, you know what I mean? That's just remarkable, right? And the reason why I kind of want to have you on here is because it's very hard for me, or I know you had John Ziegler on one time. John Ziegler is a comedian and a personal trainer. And I've always been around fitness, right? My whole life. I've always been a fighter, kickboxer, boxer. So for me to talk about fitness and exercise, doesn't matter because I've never really struggled because I've always loved it, right? And that's not the case for everybody, as you know, right?
Exactly.
It's some people like, oh, fuck the gym. Like, oh shit, I gotta go to the fucking gym. But you were one of these guys who just turned it off and went, nope. Like, it's like a switch went off in your head, and now you're able to fucking become this machine, man, to do, like, that's a huge accomplishment. When did it start for you? What was your turning point?
Well, I mean, I've been on and off WW since 2003, and I've had some success here and there, but, it was like 3 years ago, and I was just at a point where life was, like, unlivable. I could barely get around. My job was, even though I work at a desk, it was hard to walk around the office. And you saw at shows, it was hard to be on stage for a certain amount of time. I would lose my breath. It was just any part of life was getting hard.
Yeah.
And I made a decision. One night I was sitting here and I'm stuffing my face with Chinese food, and I had that full feeling up to my throat, and then like I was getting like shortness of breath, and I'm like, is this how they're gonna find me? Like, with empty cartons of Chinese food around me. And I just made a decision. Like, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to just sit here and have a life that's not worth living. And I want to see 40. And I don't know what it was. Something just changed in me. And I was like, I'm going to do it full force. And if it doesn't work, then I guess I'll have to have the surgery. But I didn't want that. It always scared me. So I just started small, and I just started sticking to it and realizing that there was no going back. You know, when you get to a point where it's like this, or you got the realization that you're not going to be around too much longer. It's scary, and that's really what did it for me.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about stand up, right? And we've done, I would say, close to 1,000 shows together. So from going back over how long have you been standing up? 10 years now.
10 years,
Yeah. So I mean, I've been on shows with you for fucking twice a week, sometimes for 10 years, and one thing I always gave you credit for is you were never that guy that relied on being heavy for material. It's like me. I address having an accent, being from a different country, because if not, the fucking idiots, especially on Long Island, just fucking. Where are you from? He's from Australia.
Those fucking. Are you from Brooklyn?
Yeah. Tommy O'Neill? Yeah, we all know each other. You fucking idiot. But you never relied on your weight. I mean, you addressed it. You had a few jokes about it, but you never relied on it. Which goes to show like it's not laziness. Like it's not lazy writing.
No, well, the first year I did a lot because you just write what you know, and I got laughs, and I was like, okay, I'll write this stuff. And John Truson sent me an email and said, like, listen, I would love for you. And this was like probably the beginning of the summer. He goes, sometime in September. This is my first year, and he goes, I'm going to just actually do 9 minutes, and I want it all new material. I don't want any weight jokes. He goes, because as you start doing the road, every town you go to, there'll be a heavy guy, and he'll be doing those same jokes. He goes, if you want to be different, write about what's funny to you and stuff like that. He goes, not saying you can't address it, but just try to write like jokes about like your life and what you find funny. And I was like, oh, wow. And then at first I was nervous. And I remember I called Ziegler and I was like, oh, my God. I said, my jokes all sunk. What am I going to do? And, back when we used to panic about like getting avails and stuff like that. And it was the best thing I ever did because I didn't want to be like, a one-dimensional comic. Like I'm Italian, but it doesn't mean I have to do jokes about my grandmother's furniture.
Oh, God, don't you hate those guys?
Yes, I don't like those jokes. And I don't like being lumped into that because my last name ends in a vowel. I I have jokes about being Italian because like, just certain aspects of it, but it's not like, I don't have the age-old debate. Is it sauce or gravy? It's whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's food. Eat it. Like,
but man, like that's great. Like Truson, that's great advice too, right? But you have to start somewhere, right? And then some people will just go, thank you, and not do anything about it. You know what I mean? But the fact that you showed you can change there, obviously that's in you, right? To fucking be forced to do something. So when you started your 200-pound fucking like journey, what was your first step? Like that night you said, fuck the Chinese food, I'm done. What was your first step that next morning?
I called my best friend Nick.
Okay.
And I said, dude, I got to do something. I said, this is ridiculous. And he was in the same boat. He had gained a lot of weight, and he was chasing around at the time like a 2-year-old.
I've met him once or twice, right? That's the guy. Nice guy.
My best friend Nick, all tattoos, and he's a musician. And he wanted to do the same thing. And I said, we got to do it this time. And the first thing was really planning out, like what meeting can we, like what WW workshop can we attend every week that will be there. And we picked one, and it was really small steps. I didn't say, okay, I got to go into this losing X amount of weight. I said, I want to start, and it was really just getting through the first week. My dad was never hard on me about losing weight. He never was mean about it.
Your dad's a gentleman, man. Your dad really is. And he's a huge fan of yours too.
And he said to me, like, he would say, like, Aunt, just for your health. And I would say, it's going to take so long. I got to do this. He goes, well, that time's going to go by anyway. He goes, you'll see. And what are you going to do with it? That's the main thing, what you do in that time. And nothing's ever been more true. And I say it on the podcast all the time because, like when I first started, having to lose over, 200 pounds, I still have to lose a lot more. But you think about 3 years, it's a long time, but it went by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was really that first week, getting through that first week. And, I had to set back the second week. I had lost so much my first week, but the next week I gained like a half a pound.
Did you gained half a pound off the weight you lost? Or let's say if you lost 5 pounds, you gained back that 5 plus a half, or you just went back?
No,
Okay.
I just a half. Like I lost like almost 15 pounds my first week,
Okay.
just the water weight.
Right.
And the next week I went in, I gained like a half a pound. I was at 0.4, and I'm like, are you serious? Like I can't even. And I've had that pattern my whole like. If you look, you go back and I can look at my thing. I'll lose like 2-3 weeks at a gain, 2-3 weeks at a gain. It's just the way my body works.
Yeah.
And it can be very frustrating. It can be but it was getting like not giving up on those times really that I really felt like, okay, maybe this is in me. But really what I always used as a crutch was the anniversary. My mom passed away and her birthday is 2 weeks apart.
Okay.
So every July I'd be like, okay, it's time for me to go off the rails and emotionally eat. And I did the same thing for Christmas. And when I got through July that first year and then Christmas, and I didn't go off the rails, I'm like, okay, maybe this is really going to work. And so far, I've stuck to it.
So how do you handle a setback though? Like, I mean, that's obviously a big one with the anniversary of your mother and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of a different thing to address, right? That's more of, like you said, you emotionally eat. That's something that's, I mean, you would know, either you get help for that kind of treatment to deal with that situation, or you kind of, you know yourself how to deal with it. But let's go back to, like you said, you had that half a pound, you lost 15 and you put back on a half a pound. How do you get over that setback on the early days? Because now I listen to you and I've heard your podcast and you're like, fuck it. I gained weight and that's what you're very confident and you're very relaxed about it. But going back to the start of it, how did you handle a setback?
I'm always a mental patient when it comes to those things. Even with like going back to, I just think my little league days, if I struck out or I didn't do well, I get like a mental patient. And I started getting like that with this.
So you're competitive.
Yeah, I'm competitive with myself with this. In the beginning, it was hard. Like, you were like, what else do I have to do? I'm doing all this stuff. And then, again, I'll bring up my dad again. He would be like, he gave me like the checklist I do now. He's like, did you eat well this week? I'm like, yes. Like, did you get your exercise in? Yes. He goes, did you do everything that you should have done? I go, yeah. He goes, okay, then it's 1 week. And then he was right, though. It's 1 week. And I started researching also, like, why you would gain weight. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the food you eat. It can be just something as simple as, believe it or not, the humidity in the air. It could be 1 week you ate X amount of sodium and the next week you ate just a little more, and it could cause an influctuation in weight, or the water intake. It's so many things that factor into, you stepping on a scale at a certain time each week, and that scale does not know you're supposed to weigh less. So as long as you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, I started looking then at the end of the month. If the end of the month was I down, then it was a good month. Then it was successful.
That's a smart way to do it too, instead of looking at it day to day.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, because even and the seasons also have something to do with it. Like the winter, your body wants to store extra insulation. Excuse me. And in the summer, it wants to get rid of it. So, and also if you're not hydrating properly, then in the summertime, if you drink, especially if you live on Long Island where you get to see, if you live in New York, you get to see the four seasons. I have one kidney, right? So, which is very weird. I went to the doctor about this. In the summertime, if I work out and if I drink a lot of water, I'm not exaggerating. I look like I'm pregnant. Like it's out about 2 feet from, it's unbelievable. I said to the doctor, I said, what is that? He goes, well, it's the summertime. Your body just wants to, because you've only got one kidney, you're not filtering through, the fluids aren't going through as quick. So your body's storing it all in. So absolutely, man, seasonal is a huge part to play in it too. Yeah,
humid. When it's really humid, I've like, we had some bad humid days this summer, and I just track it. Like when it was really a bad humid day, I noticed sometimes I would gain like a pound or two, and it's just your body. There's no exact way to lose weight every week unless like you do some kind of crazy fed diet or crash diet, which WW is not.
Yeah.
It really is. It really teaches you how to eat and how to get a healthy relationship with food. And even where they've went this last year or so, where even incorporating, your mental wellness into it and overall wellness, because it's not just, you got to fix every problem. There's a reason why, some people just like to eat because food is delicious and it's awesome. But me, I'm an emotional eater. I'm a food addict, and there's a lot goes into that.
Yeah.
So I had to address that stuff, and dealing with feelings and actually feeling the feelings and dealing with it's hard. But
Especially for you
that,
miserable fuck.
yeah, I mean, more than anybody. I mean, it's funny. We're sitting here, we're talking about health and fit. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Yeah, no, right.
One day we were doing we were talking about health and fitness on a podcast.
Yeah, no.
No, it is true. But I was, you guys all joke around, maybe not pleasant and miserable, but I was very miserable. I'm not saying I'm the happiest person in the world now, but I was in a lot of pain. Just getting around was painful. I was uncomfortable a lot, and it led to, not being happy. And everybody, I'm a kind of person, like if I'm in a certain mood, I don't hide it very well, and everybody, is affected by that.
Yeah, but I think everybody knew, because that's why everyone stuck around, and everyone still talks to everybody, right? But you would always come in, like you still do, have the coolest shirts, right? And you would come in with this fucking cool, like, let it be a Star Wars shirt or from a movie reference that you never see him anywhere. Like, fuck, that's a cool shirt. And you would say it to him, like, hey man, nice shirt. What the fuck's that mean? It means you got a cool shirt on, you fucking asshole. Like, he's like, holy shit, you're miserable. What the fuck do you mean by that? Why you got to talk about my shirt?
Yeah.
But when you started that, like, when I follow your stories, it was, you would go for these walks. I don't know the name of the park you would go.
Norman J. Levy.
What? Where is it?
Norman J. Levy. It's in Merrick.
Okay, on Long Island. And I would see you post these things. I'm like, fuck, man, look at that. You would walk on a nice day. I'm like, look at this, the city behind them. Like, I said, holy shit, I would love to be there right now instead of going to a fucking dumb gym like I'm doing. And when did exercise, when did you realize yourself, like, okay, not only do I have to fucking watch or control what I eat, I also have to exercise? What was that like? Because that's the worst for a lot of people who do not enjoy it.
Yeah, like I always, like when I was younger, I used to work out. I always enjoyed lifting weights. That was always something I really enjoyed doing, and it was a stress reliever. I hate cardio. I still don't. Cardio is not my favorite thing in the world to do. It still isn't, but I realize I have to do it. I really didn't get into working out. It was probably about a year and a half ago, really serious into to exercise. So it was a good year and a half after I started that I really started getting serious with exercise. Because I was embarrassed to go to a gym,
Sure.
just self-conscious. I really couldn't do that much. I mean, because where I started from. I mean, I'll say it. When I started, I was 583 pounds. I was 17 pounds away from 600.
Right.
So just if you think about that, even losing 100 pounds, I was still close to 500 pounds, and mobility wasn't great, and just what I could do. And I started doing some little stuff around the house. Like we mentioned, John Ziegler, he was a personal trainer. He gave me some exercises to do in the house, like even just sitting in the chair and moving my arms and my legs just to get the blood going. But I was very resistant to working out for a while. And then about a year and a half ago, I decided I bit the bullet, joined the gym and started going. And I got addicted to that. It's one of the things now that I miss more than anything. And the walking at Norman J. Levy, actually, my dad walks there every weekend, and he always used to tell me about it. And then an ex-girlfriend brought me there, and I fell in love with the place. And it was my Saturday tradition. I would go Saturday morning, walk around that place, and cleared my head. Like I said, like you see the city skyline on a nice day. You turn around, there's Jones Beach. You can see everything, and it was just a peaceful walk. Put your music in, walk around, clear your head, get some thoughts out, and you get a great workout in too. And it was just an alternative to the gym, just switching it up a little bit.
You feel better too, right?
Yeah,
like like mentally, you feel like you feel a lot better. Now, when you go to the gym, do you kind of have a set like routine you're going to do, or how long do you stay at the gym? Do you overdo it? Do you think, like, does it mess with your head? In other words, like, I should have been here. Like, if you did a half an hour at the gym, do you kind of walk away going like, I fucking should have done 45. I should have done an hour.
Yeah. Well, I try to do it. I do an hour at the gym. I split up between cardio and weights.
Okay.
And what I started doing before this whole pandemic, I was getting up at 5 in the morning, and I was at the gym by 6.
Fuck, man, I envy that.
Well, because I work the gym. I go to Planet Fitness. I have one down the block from my office. My day job. So I would leave. I would just work out, leave at 7, and get changed at work, and I would shower when I get home. I didn't care because the guys I work with, let them smell anyway. So I was like, I would just, I would pack the night before. I'd make all my food, so I'd have meal prep. I had, everything ready to go, and I just go to the gym and have a great workout for an hour. And my kind of workout, what I do is I do about a half an hour cardio and a half an hour of circuit training with the weights.
Okay, that's in that little yellow room, right?
Well, it's that, but I do them on the regular other machines.
Okay.
I don't go in there. Sometimes I go in the room, but I just I do about a half an hour, and it's low. I don't do I do short breaks in between, so I'm always moving, so my heart rate's up, and I get a great workout. And I burn sometimes anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 calories per workout.
Fuck, man, that's something else.
Well, my weight is I'm still way more than most people, so that is in it. But I put a good workout in, and I feel good after I leave that I did a good job.
It just clears your head too, right? Like it just when you put your body under that kind of stress too, like when you push through, it's like you always feel better after it.
Also important is find a time that works best for you. Like I was going that after work. But I was like done after work, especially and I had shows too. I'd get a workout before a show, and I was rushing around. I'm like, if I went like first thing in the morning, I got it out. It's out of the way. So whatever happened that day, I can come home and I can actually cook dinner before I went to a show or something.
Right.
It just worked out, and you get used to the waking up at 5 in the morning. Your body adjusts to it very quickly.
So now, yeah, man. I used to when I used to fight back in Ireland. My coach Jimmy would make me run like 3 to 5 miles every morning, right? At about 5 in the morning, right? So I'm like, fuck. And I don't like working out in the morning because not that I just feel weird and gross. But he owned the bakery. So I would always have to make sure on the route I would have to jog by his bakery and I would have to go to the window and wave to him. So I had no way like, I went this morning. So whenever I hear guys like you and Dan Barry, like Dan used to get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like even now I kind of struggle with morning workouts. But now that everything is kind of your gym is closed down, how has it affected you? Like exercise wise, I mean, or diet. I mean, you don't have to work from home, right? You're out all the time, just as normal, anyway, right? Or do you work from home?
No, I'm working mostly from home. I go into the office to swap out paperwork and stuff like that. But as of now, I'm working from home. The thing would happen is over the summer I had a knee injury, turned out to be arthritis.
Right.
So I'm not supposed to be walking a lot on concrete as far as distance. That's how I did it. So I do what I can. I walk around a high school track sometimes with, because it's softer. But my workouts are not what they used to be. But I bought resistance bands when they first were talking about closing the gyms. I said, let me have it at home in case we are home. So for weights, I'm doing the resistance bands, and I do a little cardio walking around just to keep myself active. But like most people, no, it's not what it used to be. And but I'm doing something,
right?
And as long as I'm keeping active during this, but I gained the first 2 weeks during I was working home, and it wasn't because I was cheating or anything. I was just WW has 3 different plans. They have the green plan, blue plan, and purple plan. On green, you get the most amount of points because there's not as many 0-point foods. So it allowed me to eat more like snacks. And I found myself snacking more when I was home. Every time I went to the kitchen, they had something, I would grab something.
Okay.
So even though it was within my points, I felt like I was eating more calories than I was burning, especially with the workouts not being as intense as they used to be.
Right.
So I switched to purple, which has the least amount of points, but you get more 0 small point foods. But what it does, it pushes you to eat more clean.
Okay.
Because you have so few points. Because foods like brown rice and holy pasta, whole grains are 0. And I still stay within the serving size and everything. And 2 weeks I've been on that. I've lost like 8.5 pounds.
Right.
So it was definitely I was taking in too many calories. So I adjusted to that. And that's been the only normal thing I have one of the normal things I have during this whole pandemic is my program. I still weigh in every Monday. I track my food. I measure my water. I weigh out my, when I eat my meals, everything's weighed and measured before. So like that's the one thing that's still I have a piece of normal. And I kind of talked about on my podcast this week about people letting themselves go during this.
Right.
That if this has shown us anything, it's being healthy is important. I mean, what is this disease attacking? It's attacking people who are overweight, underlying illnesses, heart disease, diabetes,
smokers.
It's not the smokers. It's not the time to let yourself go, because when this thing ends, whenever it is, let's just say, for example, June 1st, everything's back to normal.
Right.
Pandemic over. If you haven't been taking care of yourself this whole time and sticking to a regimen, are you going to just automatically snap back into it? No. So I'm really trying to encourage people, like, to those old habits creep in, those old voices, tell you, oh my God, everything's going crazy. It's okay to get off plan. To me, I don't think it is. I mean, and I'm not trying to be judgmental.
Sure.
But I just think if this is showing us anything, is that taking care of yourself is very important, because those who've gotten it and who are healthy, I'm not saying, the high percentage have been okay. So it's just another reminder that we need to take care. Yeah, we need to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing, what I've learned from this, and I'm so glad it happened, right, is because when I used to go to the gym, I chased a look, right? I wanted to look a certain way. I go back and forth to LA for whatever meetings, and I kind of feel like, I gotta look a certain way, because that's what goes with, it's not just about you gotta look a certain way. And I would go on Instagram and I would follow these guys with these phenomenal bodies, mainly Italians, because Italians are the fucking just best genetics, and I'm Irish who have no fucking, we're just like potatoes. We look like shit. No matter how hard we work out, we still look like shit. So what this one pandemic thing has taught me is like, all right, I just got to be fucking healthy now. And the workout that I did, or I am doing right now, I've never felt, and I'm talking about even when I went back, even when I was fighting, I never felt this good. And I may never go back to a gym. Because now I'm only worried about how I feel. Like, fuck, what do I look? I'm okay. Like everything is gone.
Yeah.
If I do something for TV or a movie, then they've got cameras with lighting. They can hide all that shit. If they can paint all 6-packs on everyone, the whole cast of 300, then I'm sure they can fucking Photoshop a jawline on me or something. You know what I mean?
We're also our worst critics, though. I mean, you're in good shape. I mean, you have to. I don't think you have to worry about, if you get a movie role or something that Photoshop you or anything. I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man. I went out to LA with my manager and Paul Verzi, right? And the two of us were because we were the same manager, and we were I won't mention the name of the company because we're still working together. So we go to this. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's one of the top 5 movie productions companies in the world. So we're waiting to go up, and all of a sudden the elevator opens up, and a janitor gets out. Custodian, whatever you want to call him, and he was fucking gorgeous. And I just, I turned to Verzi. I go, how fucking ugly do you feel right now? Like, we are just like, ugh, compared to it's so, that's always in the back of your mind. But if anything, this taught me, and the reason why I wanted you to come on here, man, because it's really about, I think people need to let image go now. Because I see guys online who are like gym rats, and they want a nice bicep, and it's got to curl perfectly into the shoulder, and that'll pull down to my lats.
Yeah.
I think, and I was kind of, again, worse genetics, so I was chasing this fucking carrot on a string that I would never get to, just because of my shitty genetics. But now I'm like, you know what? The message, what I wanted to get across to people is it's like, instead of chasing this fucking body type, chase your health. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to fucking save you through all this shit. That's what's going to save you through this and going forward. It's all that matters is your fucking health.
Well, I think back, 3 years ago, if this was going on, I'd be done. I mean, if I had something that affected, I could barely breathe then. If I had something that affected my breathing and taxed my heart, 200 pounds heavier, and I think I had it already. To be honest,
you think you came past through?
We were all sick. Me and my whole family were sick in December, January with all these same symptoms. So, I mean, it could have been in the flu. It could, I don't know, because that was never tested,
Right.
but it just seems like just that either I've been very lucky or I haven't been exposed to it yet, or I'm not. I don't know. Who knows? So much of the unknown, but just even I don't get sick that much. Knock on wood. Just regular since because I take care of myself now. I build up my immune system. I eat right. I exercise, and it is about your health. It's not about what you look like as much.
Yeah.
I've lost 200 pounds. I mean, there's muscle definition under there somewhere. I mean, I'm gonna have to have the surgeries as far as skin
Sure.
removal when this is all done. And I want them because again, we are that whole vainness of like, I do want to look somewhat good. I've worked very hard for it.
Yeah, and also, man, we get on stage with a spotlight for 45 minutes shining on us. I mean,
Yeah,
people are looking, not just like, let's see if this guy's funny, but they're no matter who you are, no matter like you could be just ripped. You could be whatever you are, whatever you're wearing. Like, I didn't fucking shower and so my hair's greasy, whatever. Like you still everyone's going to be looking you up and down.
they pick you apart. Yeah,
And that's one of the reasons I don't show. I personally don't show my tattoos on stage. Once or twice I've done it, but like
yeah.
when I went to see, I was working with Greg Giraldo, rest his soul, and
Mm-hmm.
I brought him up on stage, and I ran out around down the hallway out to go out to the main room to watch him. And he's one of my all-time favorite comics. And I'm like, holy fuck. And I'm not even listening to him because I'm like, what is that tattoo on his arm? He didn't have that in the green room. And then I'm trying to figure out what it was. I'm like, fuck, is that what's like if I were to show a tattoo on stage? So again, like people are fucking staring at you, trying to figure you out what's going on there. I know some comics that chub their dick up before they go up on stage, like assholes. Like they literally could chub it up. You know what I'm talking about? I want to mention his name
Yeah.
He'll chub it up. Be like, all right, let me get a bit of meat and go in here when I go up on stage. There's a bunch of hot girls in the front row. Like, you piece of shit. So yeah, man, we are aware of people looking at us. And I think the message from this is I think it's health over image.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try to hammer it home on my podcast. Like it's important to take care of yourself. You get one, like I was talking about life being short, if this is showing us that too. I mean, we get one go around in this, and life is being taken dramatically right now. And, I learned how short life was. My mother died at 52.
Sure.
So I know how short it is. And she hammered home to me a bunch of times, like when she was sick, even take care of yourself. You only get one body or one chance. There's no second chances with this. So, I think about that now when this is going on, even more to take care of myself, and I see people, not taking care of themselves that should, and I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but I mean, you're not going to go right back to it once this is over. That's what I'm trying to stress with these people, and because I've been through it.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great message too. I just think like if you stop. Like, I think the reason why people confuse like six packs, biceps, big chest with being healthy. Like a lot of those guys are not fucking healthy too. I see them at the gym. They can't walk on the treadmill, right? Because all they do is focus
Yeah.
on lifting weights. And a lot of them, I can tell. I got one or two friends who take that shot of testosterone and take growth hormones, just to
Mm-hmm.
chase an image. And I think that's why I think the gym looks so like. When you think of like if you're somebody who never goes to the gym, who never works out, and then you think like you got to go to the gym, and you think that like, wait, I have to go to the gym. Why? Because is my goal to look like that? And then you're like, I don't really want to look like that. I think if people just instead of letting like the gym equals fucking biceps, triceps, chest, shoulders, traps, all that shit, I think if you just associate with health, that should be enough reason to fucking go to the gym. And what I've learned is I don't need a gym anymore for what I'm doing right now. And it's like, find something that will keep you active, that you will love, and you will always do it. If it's
Yeah.
right, if it's a bike ride, if it's a hiking is amazing, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I missed that more than anything. My Saturday walk. They closed the preserve. I can't even go in during this.
Yeah, see.
It was open. It was open in the beginning, and then they closed it about halfway, towards the end of March, beginning of April. So I can't even go there anymore. But it's true. So I know a lot of people I know, through the WW community that you would think they spend hours at the gym. They don't go to a gym. They do everything at home. They do, they run, they bike, they do workouts on YouTube. There's classes you can take on YouTube. So there are things to be done, and it matters if you're going to push yourself to do it.
It just makes you feel like this time last year I had a video popped up in my Facebook memory. I didn't reshare it again. But it was just me hiking up the Sugarloaf Mountains in Ireland. And while I was hiking up that, fuck me, my legs were burning, but it cleared out your mind. And I never once was thinking like, all right, well, this is not going to pump my chest up. When I was up in Vermont, I went hiking up this mountain in Vermont, and like I was supposed to go to the gym that night, but instead I went there, and I never once felt guilty about not going to the gym. So like, there's so much more you can do, man. Like the gym is not the end of it. Like the gym, it's all about health.
Yeah, and I go to the gym because it makes me feel good,
right?
Like even like mentally, like when I lift weights, that clears my head.
It's huge help with depression, man. It's huge help with depression.
It's a stress reliever, but some people get the same thing from running or just biking around the neighborhood, and that's what you have to find. You have to find that thing that you love doing and you can keep doing. Because again, I think that's the most important thing is the head part of it as well as the physical.
Yeah, you're 100% right. All right, mate. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Do you want to just tell people? Because listen, folks, everyone that comes on here promotes their podcast, but what I will say is, fucking Anthony's one is just beyond motivating. For not even about health, not even about weight loss, but just the message behind your podcast is it's all positive, man, especially in a world of fucking negativity right now. Your podcast is all positive, and I think people need to check it out. So what's the name of the podcast? Where can they find it?
It's called the WW Bro Podcast. It's available on iTunes. Also, you can find it on the website, www.bropodcast.podbean.com. You can find it through my website, anthonydlive.com, or you can just follow me on Instagram at comicanthonyd.
All right, man. Listen, thanks so much for doing that. I really appreciate it.
No,
all right, man. Be good.
Me,
Stay healthy. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. That was a good one, right? Anthony's a fucking good egg. Any comments, concerns, send them to my Instagram page. That's where I get all my messages from Mick Thomas Comedy. All right, folks. Be healthy out there. Stay clean. Enjoy your family. Be healthy and wash yourselves, you dirty fuckers. Take care. Thanks so much. Good luck to you. Good luck.